That was the superlative John Surtees, on his way to victory in the 1960 Senior TT, with a lap record at over 104 miles an hour, to become the first man ever to score a hat-trick in any TT class. Let's hear some more. Covering the 226 miles in under 2 hours 13 minutes, John also became the first man to average over 100 miles an hour for a TT at 102.44, nearly 5 miles an hour faster than the 1959 winning average. And with good reason, for the 1959 senior was held in appalling conditions. And this is what the rain-sodden Surtees told me after his victorious nightmare of a ride.
John, congratulations on a fantastic victory. What was it like and how do you feel?
Well, I just feel very, very cold and I can't hardly move at the moment, but I certainly wouldn't like to have to ride another race like
Sure
it.
you would. Have you got cramp?
It came on a little about midway during the main thing is I do suffer from cold in my hands and well, I can't even feel them at the moment.
One last question. What was it like on the mountain on those very bad laps?
I said I just don't want to ever do it again.
Well, when he won that 1959 senior, John was 25, a Londoner whose parents lived and breathed motorcycling. He himself had been racing for nearly 10 years, first as his father's grass-track sidecar passenger, and then on a 500 Vincent in 1951, followed by a 500 Norton, on which he was 6th in the 1952 Ulster. King of brands by 1953 and all but unbeatable on any short circuit, he also frequently rode the 250cc REG Twin. In 1954 on Norton's, John finished 11th in his junior TT debut, won the 350 Hutchinson 100 and led Jeff Duke and the Gilera at the Silverstone meeting till Bevel trouble stopped him. Then in 55 he joined the Norton team and also rode a lightweight NSU. Here is the German 250. Also in 1955, he made his continental debut at Mette, finishing 2nd in the 350 and 500 races. Then he took 4th place in the Junior TT and 3rd in the German Grand Prix to finish 6th in the 350 championship table. Here he is finishing at the Nürburgring. Then when Norton stopped works racing, Surtees joined MV. And with 500cc wins in the TT, Dutch and Belgian, he won the world title, despite breaking his arm in the German. Here he is at full song. Unworried by his accident, he rode as hard as ever in 57. Remember the way he fought back against Bob McIntyre in the senior TT, even though 2 minutes down on time on the 8th and final lap.
Surtees has taken McIntyre on his bend here. Fantastic, fabulous, terrific. Listen to them.
With Gilera and Gutsy out, after 57, Surtees reigned supreme, winning nearly every classic he contested and shattering lap records time and again. Listen to him breaking the lap record before the rains came in the 1959 senior. But there were setbacks. In 1960, for example, when gearbox trouble in the Junior TT robbed him of a seemingly certain unique treble-double and left him second to teammate John Hartle. Yet John Surtees never gave in easily. Witness the 1960 500 Dutch TT, when, after several pit stops, he fought back so hard that he crashed. Even so, he went on to score his third successive double championship, before retiring at the end of the season to turn with equal brilliance to cars. So finally, let's listen again to the war cry of the MV in the hands of its supreme master. One of the rarest of all motorcycle racing sounds, the great Jeff Duke at the controls of a 500cc Gilera on which he won 3 of his 6 world championships, as he and John Hartle warmed up 2 of the Arcore 4s prior to the 1963 Hutchinson 100. But here are some even rarer sounds, recorded during Jeff's 1955 500cc German Grand Prix victory at the Nürburgring. Screaming down the long straight, leading Walter Zeller's BMW at Brunchen, and taking the checkered flag. Those old recordings are probably the only ones in existence of Duke in his heyday. Yet we can still glimpse some of the highlights of his great career through the sounds of other machines on which he made his name, starting with the 350 Trials BSA. For Jeff started his competitive career as a trials rider and scrambler in 1946. Rode for Norton's trials team and represented Britain in the Motocross des Nations in 48. Made his racing debut in that year's Junior Manx Grand Prix, and in 49 won the 500 Clubman's TT and Manx Grand Prix. Then in 1950, Norton's produced a machine destined to change the face of racing, the featherbed-framed short-stroke Manx. The featherbed swept all before them in the Isle of Man. Jeff, in his first TT, finishing second to teammate Artie Bell in the junior and winning a record-shattering senior by nearly 2 3/4 minutes. Here's a 500 Manx in action. Jeff rode those Nortons for 2 more seasons, scoring TT and championship doubles in 51 and taking the 350 title in 52. But then, after being awarded the OBE and the Seagrave Trophy, he switched to Gileras. Though a much later recording, here's one of the 500s he rode. But although he scored a 500cc World Championship hat-trick in 1953, 4 and 5, Jeff won only 1 more TT, the 1955 Senior, when he pushed the lap record to 99.97 miles an hour. And that was his last TT on the Gilera, for first suspension and then an Imola accident kept him out for the next 2 years. So he was on the sidelines during Graham Walker's historic 1957 BBC broadcast.
Bob McIntyre should be approaching George Carso over the Ballacrane. Need I say more? Bob McIntyre just going through, gone away from us in magnificent style. He must have done the ton on that second lap. So let's go back to Graham for more news. Well, back at the grandstand, we're still waiting for that news. I think it's coming up any moment now. It's been done! Bob McIntyre has lapped on his second lap in 22 minutes, 24 and 2/5 seconds. A speed of 101.03 miles an hour. It's simply fantastic. A wonderful, wonderful performance. But Jeff Duke, who nominated Bob McIntyre, has seen his nominee become the first man to do what Jeff so nearly did in 1955, to get the magic ton record. Well, now, the speed with which McIntyre has adapted himself to the very complicated four-cylinder machine is really wonderful. Incidentally, when he was discussing the machine with me 2 or 3 days ago, he passed very high praise to Jeff Duke, who has done so much to improve the steering of the machine. In fact, he said it's one of the best steering machines he's ever handled.
At the end of 57, Gilera withdrew from racing, but not Jeff. For the following season, he acquired a 350 Norton and a Works BMW. After a first-lap retirement in the Junior, this is what he said about the Munich twin before the Senior.
It's certainly going like a bomb anyway. I think it's a matter of getting a little bit more used to the machine, and I'll certainly have plenty of time to do that tomorrow in 7 laps round here anyway.
And the twin certainly got going like a rocket. But it too packed up, and later in the year, Jeff switched back entirely to Nortons. And it was on his lightweight 350 that he had his last TT ride, in the 1959 Junior, finishing 4th. Here's a part of the Maestro's Island Swan Song. Racing career ended with a triple victory at Locarno on his Nortons and a 250 Benelli. Here is the splendid little single. So ended one of the greatest post-war racing careers. But Jeff, now an atelier in the Isle of Man, still kept in close touch with racing and viewed the mountain circuit alterations with growing dismay, as he told Graham Walker in 1961.
And I would say that there has been an improvement of probably something like 10 seconds in road resurfacing, the ironing out of bumps and such like, which at many occasions used to actually control the speed through corners, and also the easing of the odd place as well.
But I think they ought to leave it alone, don't you?
I certainly do. I think it's a shame.
And behind the scenes, Jeff never flagged in his efforts to persuade Gilera to return to racing. Finally, in 1963, he succeeded, forming the Scuderia Duke with Derek Minter and John Hartle as the riders. So, thanks to Jeff, the sound with which he once thrilled countless thousands is again re-echoing across the race circuits of Europe.